Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This past week, it's been making the rounds on the web. Websites such as Snopes have put out the information that in 1958, there was a Western called Trackdown, and Season 1, Episode 30 was titled The End of the World, and it's about a snake oil salesman named Trump preaching the end of the world and the solution. And the solution is for him to build this wall. A man named Trump, a snake oil salesman who wants to build a wall. The fact that this came out in 1958, this episode, it aired May 9th, 1958. 58's the number I've been talking about with regards to this election and Trump. This was the 58th presidential election that Donald Trump just won. And Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2017, it's a date with 58 numerology. Last week, one of the news stories was Donald Trump has picked a new man for Inauguration Day, and that man is Steve Ray, who was 58 years old. In case you missed this video, let me show you something about Steve Ray. The name Steve Ray in Gematria equals 115, and when you write out 58, it also sums to 115. Donald Trump is taking office with the 115th Congress. So again, for 3 years I've been here. I've been saying, when you learn this language of Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, you can see how our history has been scripted and planned by the numbers. For 3 years, I have been proving that the future is written. The news that is to come 10 years from today, the day I make this video, it's already scripted. The news for 30 years from today, it's already scripted. The Freemasons at the top who run government, media, banking, the things that control our lives, they have scripted out the future. They have a planned agenda. That's why the Freemason, Albert Pike, the Confederate war general, the only Southern general to have a statue in Washington, D.C., that's why he wrote that letter during the time of the Civil War about 3 future world wars to shape the world as we know it. And the Third World War is supposed to be Christianity versus Islam. Think about Donald Trump, the Satanist who claims to be a Christian, like pretty much all Satanists in high places do. You know, these Christians always voting for these Republican Satanists because they just claim that they're Christian. That's all it takes to get the gullible sheep to support them. And we're going to hear the dialogue in this episode in just a moment, the end of the world, about how he was leading the sheep to slaughter. Let's watch the clip from this episode from 1958, and then we'll come back and decode the rest of this. It's amazing how clearly this foretold the Donald Trump presidential administration, which we're about to enter into. But let's just watch the clip, and then we'll decode the rest. And I want to thank Sandra for uploading this. I'll link her channel. I'm going to minimize myself here, make this big. Let's watch for a few minutes, then we'll be right back with the rest of the decode.
Trackdown. I bring you a message. A message few of you will be able to believe. A message of great importance. A message I alone was able to read in the fires of the universe. But be not afraid, my friends. I also bring you the means with which to save yourselves.
Save us from what?
From the end of the world, friend. Which I don't expect you to believe. But the rest of you, those who want to be alive tomorrow morning, I will tell you tonight. Remember that. Bring your friends here. I'll tell you tonight, so that you will be able to prepare.
What are you selling, mister? Snake oil?
The world will come to a flaming end at midnight tonight. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead. Got a name?
Trump.
I bet it fits. Planning to remain in town for long? Well, I understand I have until midnight.
And you've heard.
Yeah, I heard. Your name is Trump? All right, Sheriff. How long are you going to put up with this?
What do you mean?
How long are you going to let this con man walk around town?
Be careful, son. I can sue you.
How about it, Sheriff? When are you going to put the lid on?
What for?
Well, stealing is stealing, whether you do it with a gun or a mouthful of mealy words.
I don't intend to sit here and be insulted, Sheriff. If your people don't want my help, I can go elsewhere.
Wait a minute, Mr. Trump. You don't talk for the rest of us.
Since the sheriff wouldn't stop Trump, Hobie had to find somebody who would. Sheriff Chet Farrow was the gun law in Talpa, and Judge Clement was the book law.
You hear about Trump?
Yes, sir. What are you going to do about him?
What do you want me to do?
Stop him
From what?
from taking the town.
Can you prove that that's what he has in mind?
Well, it's obvious.
But can you prove it? In order to arrest him, the sheriff has to have a charge. And Trump hasn't given him a thing to go on.
Well, there's got to be some way to stop him.
Well, if there is, I don't know it. It's a funny thing.
Sir?
When we were kids, we were all afraid of the dark. And we grew up, and we weren't afraid anymore, but it's funny how a big lie can make us all kids again.
Hobie had checked the town. The people were ready to believe. Like sheep, they ran toward the slaughterhouse.
That's funny how it just paused right after that line. Sheep towards the slaughterhouse. Is YouTube messing with us? Hold on here. Let's hear it one more time.
It's again.
Hobie had checked the town. The people were ready to believe. Like sheep, they ran toward the slaughterhouse. And waiting for them was the high priest of fraud.
I am the only one. Just me.
Did you hear that title? The High Priest of Fraud? We'll get to that one.
I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate.
What do we do? How do we save ourselves?
You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you. You're a liar, Trump. There's not going to be any rain of fire. Can you deny the meteorites will come? Can you deny the comet? Well, it's not going to happen the way you say it is. Aren't you going to stay for the fireworks? Huh? Looks like you're going to go before everything's done.
I've done all I can for Talpa.
Figure it's time for me to be moving on. Well, I think you ought to wait.
It's where you and I disagree.
You're under arrest, Trump.
What charge?
Well, you write it any way you like. Grand theft, fraud, I think a jury will find it's stealing.
So there's the clip. Let me bring myself back here. I'll link this into the description. I want to find the rest of this episode, see the pieces not shown. But let's go through this now. There is a lot that is coded here. Again, this came out in 1958 on the date May 9th. We'll get to May 9th in a moment. 58, the number. Freemasonry equals 58. Secret Society, 58. Annuit Coeptus, what's on your dollar bill. 58. Inauguration Day this year. Date with 58 numerology when Trump, the snake oil salesman who wants to build the wall, gets sworn in. And as we just talked about, he has the 58-year-old for the ceremonies. Not by coincidence, Steve Ray. United States in Pythagorean gematria with the S exception sums to 58. A nation founded by Freemasons and run by Freemasons ever since, by the numbers. If you missed my video right after Donald Trump announces the 45th president, I put out a video on all the predictive programming from TV sitcoms, commercials, news stories, and more over the years that showed Donald Trump would be the president for the 58th election. It was foreshadowed a number of times by the numbers. 58 is also the year the pilot episode came out for the Twilight Zone. The pilot episode's about putting a man on the moon. NASA was established in 58, like the year of that pilot episode. Rod Serling, the writer of the Twilight Zone, 58, like the year of the pilot episode. The Twilight Zone equals 84, like United States of America. Special number to the history of this nation. The word Jesuit equals 84, the Masonic order within the Catholic Church. Donald Trump, a Jesuit. So another number for the Freemasons, 58, one of their symbolic numbers. Another one is 223. Masonic equals 223. They call that man Trump the high priest of fraud. 223, just like the synagogue of Satan. The synagogue of Satan is the name for the false Jews who are said to rule in the end times in Revelation, the 27th book of the New Testament, the final book of the Bible. In Revelation, the warning signs are trumpets. Think about the Trump-Pence ticket. Holy Bible in Gematria sums to 45. Donald Trump, the 45th president, announced as the president on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Mr. Wall himself. This 1958 Western having a lot to do with a con man wanting to build a wall. Remember, Donald Trump was announced as the 45th president in the early hours of November 9th. The election was November 8th. Early November 9th, they called it for Trump. 11-9, the name Donald in Jewish Gematria is 119, like All-Seeing Eye, like Star of David, like Master Plan. This commercial right here from 2010, Donald Trump talking to sheep, the 1958 show, the snake oil salesman leading the sheep to slaughter. If you've never seen this commercial from 2010 for Serta mattresses, I have a video on it, multiple videos on it. Look up the ad, 30-second ad. Donald Trump talking about being born for the job, wearing the exact same suit and tie that he wore on election night. At the end, this sheep right here, you can see he's talking. He asks America, where is our dignity? Isn't that the question after Donald Trump, the pussy grabber, the con man, the snake oil salesman, the man with the fraudulent university, the man with all the bank bailouts, or, not bank bailouts, but just bailouts. All the bankruptcies he's declared, having the taxpayers bail out his misguided plans. Where is our dignity? Electing this orange Oompa Loompa con man. It's sick. The first president to have fought in the WWE. What a joke. Anyway, where is our dignity are the final words said in this mattress commercial from 2010. This ad was for Serta. Serta equals 63. If you count every number 1 through 63 and add them together, it sums to 2016, like the year Trump was elected in. All by the numbers. 11-9. Donald, 119. Announced as the president on 11-9. Only because sheep voted for him. And it doesn't even matter how many sheep voted for him. The script is the script. They were going to put Donald Trump in as the president no matter what the votes were. Our votes don't count. This is a slave nation. This is a tyrant nation. Everything's a lie. Nobody's ever picked a president in the history of this nation. They're all crammed down our throat. They make the sheep believe in them. They make the sheep think they're their candidate. The only reason Donald Trump is even running for president is because the media put him on TV 24/7 for a year and a half saying he was running for office. Treating it like it was legitimate, as he made fun of handicapped people, Hispanics, and everyone else. Pigman. With regards to Donald Trump being elected on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, it was the 27-year anniversary. Revelation, the book about the end times, the end of the world, is the 27th book of the New Testament. Berlin Wall equals 45. Again, like him being the 45th president. Holy Bible equals 45. The director of this episode, Don McDougal, or Donald McDougal, Donald Trump. Look at the name Donald McDougal, 138, just like Donald Trump. You know what day Berlin Wall construction began? August 13th, 13/8. 1961, 3 years after this episode. And it's all part of a script by the numbers, by the Freemasons. All this time, Freemasonry goes back thousands of years. Freemasonry established this nation well before TVs or radio. The Trump character in the show, his name is Walter Trump. Walter Trump equals 50, like Donald, like America. The End of the World, what the episode is called. The End of the World from Trackdown. The End of the World equals 83, like the Donald, like election, like leap year, presidential elections and leap years. Saw a lot of 83 coding next to Donald Trump all year. This episode came out May 9th, 1958. That is the 129th day of the year, and Jewish gematria, America equals 129. Special episode for the nation, telling us our future 58 years from then. From 58 to 2016, another 58. I thought I'd just take the gematria of Western, the U.S. population who grew up on televisions. A lot of them grew up on Westerns. John Wayne. Western, gematria of 32 and 104. Just like how America's 32, and America, a nation established by Jewish banker tyrants, the same ones who've been making these TV shows and movies over the years, predicting our future, telling us what our future is. Western has the same gematria as Jerusalem, connecting back to America, connecting back to the establishment date of this nation. That new building they built in New York, One World Trade Center, they made it 104 stories tall, 1,776 feet, like our year of establishment. Not by coincidence. The United States of America, this past year, signed a new contract with Israel to give them $10.4 million every single day, on top of what we already give them. All sorts of military aid and more. $10.4 million a day for 10 straight years. Imagine if you could collect that kind of money. That's what Israel collects from the taxpayers of the U.S. The same people who for their entire lives have been mocked by this same gang, the Zionist Jews, orchestrating all this, duping the masses. And what's sad is the American masses, for the most part, they don't care. If they are watching this video, they just shrug their shoulders. Oh well, at least I have a flat screen and Cheetos. At least I can watch The End of the World on Netflix. See, that's the problem. That's why the Zionist Jews who run this nation, that's why they call everyone else the Goy, which means lessers. Goys are lessers. They're just meant to be slaves, and they're meant to work and raise revenue so that the Jewish people can live on. These are all the beliefs expressed in the Talmud. That the Goy are lessers, that you don't even need to tell them the truth. They're just, dumb people, easy to control. That they'll work, they'll slave so that you can just live off their wealth that they generate. That's the Jewish belief system. Welcome to the United States of America. Why do you think your politicians are always talking about the investor class and all the things they're going to do for the rich people who don't even work? They just live off the work of the masses. The masses who tell themselves it's good enough. All they can do is lace up their boots and go to their slave job tomorrow. Watch a Western when they get home. This could all be put to an end tomorrow if people found, just like the characters in The Wizard of Oz, which is another movie mocking us. In The Wizard of Oz, what did they need? Brains, courage, and a heart. That's all they needed. The American people, for the most part, they don't have any of those things. No brains, no courage, no heart. What's in most Americans is thoughtlessness, cowardice, and really that's it. That's the average American. Thoughtless and cowardly. The word Oz, O's the 15th letter, Z's the 26th. Oz equals 41, just like USA equals 41. 21 plus 19 plus 1. 41's the 13th prime. 13 colonies, 13 stripes, 13 years of public school programming. In the book The Wizard of Oz, it's a gold road in Dorothy's silver slippers. Silver, gold and silver, like banking, like money. In the book, they turn the slippers red to make the message less clear. But that message is all about the American people who are ruled over by what? A man behind a curtain, working through his machine, making things scarier than they really are. Just like how the Jewish Zionists use their TV to give you their fear programming every day. Terrorists, communists, disease, illness, boogeyman, kidnapper. Gotta wake up, people. Just a bunch of little shriveled Jewish men behind the curtain that need their ass whooped. Real bad. Real bad. That's what needs to happen. And then we'll be out of the end of the Jewish world order. As soon as tomorrow. If this video can get out and go viral, if some of these channels out here that pretend to be about truth, that just share all this fear porn, if instead they can share this video and help get the word out, we can put an end to it sooner than later. Or we can keep debating about what shape the earth is. Maybe the earth's flat. Let's talk about that all of a sudden. Yeah, maybe the earth's flat. Who do you think gave us that psyop? Let's talk about the lizard people. No, let's talk about the Jewish cocksuckers that run this world and have been running this world and running it just this way. Let's talk about that. Until next time, Truth Seeker.